Hello YouTube, this is Chris Ingram Beggars for Normal Services, and today's video is going to be uh, about the Illuminati. And like I said in my stream and several other videos, but my last stream that I made, there's multiple. The Illuminati is just the head of the octopus, if you would, and um, then you got your other groups, your KKK, um, your Skull and Bones, your Freemason, so on and so on. All those are the legs of the octopus of the Illuminati. All right. I'm going to show you some stuff, and I'm also going to read out of a book that I have. It's an older book. It's Reader's Digest: Mysteries of the Unexplained, and it's a part that I found that goes with this, and it's called the JFK assassination bill, and it was put out 2 weeks before JFK assassination, and Lincoln and JFK's parallel of how they work matched together of how they were killed and the different things like that proves they were killed by the Illuminati. The Illuminati are specific when they put things out, whether they're images, videos, um, numbers, because they're real high in the Illuminati, the numerology. They believe numbers have power, which I'm going to show you that here in a minute. But um, Lee Harvey Oswald did not kill Kennedy, and Booth did not kill um, Lincoln. They were patsies. The Illuminati killed them because they were standing up against the Illuminati and the New World Order and what their agenda. So I'm gonna play you this video, and then I'm gonna go right to left, and I'm gonna show you all these different things, okay? And I'm gonna break them down, and then I'm also gonna read you that book as well, that little section in the book about the JFK assassination bill.
Aleister Crowley, who dubbed himself the Beast and the most evil man alive, was a fellow traveler with some of the most powerful people in British society, including prominent royals. The Church of Satan, the Temple of Set, the OTO, the Golden Dawn, Skull and Bones, Bohemian Grove, the Blue Lodge, the Scottish Rite, the 33rd Degree. It seems like there are hundreds of different occultic groups, but all they are different denominations in the same religion, the Egyptian and Babylonian mystery schools. Albert Pike, who was the supreme Grand Mason of the entire world, founded the Ku Klux Klan. But you don't hear Jesse Jackson calling for his statue to be removed in Washington, D.C. Why is that? Because Jesse Jackson is a 33rd degree Mason. Now, don't get me wrong. Most Masons are what high-level occultists call porch Masons or outsiders. They themselves are considered neophytes by those in the inner circle or those nearer the top of the pyramid. They're compartmentalized. They believe that their great work, as they call it, is to help society. But in reality, they're being controlled and manipulated. The Knights of the Secret Circle, the Knights of the Golden Circle. This is what high-level KKK members call themselves. But even low-level KKK members do not understand that the KKK itself is part of a larger Masonic organization. Most Masons detest the Klan, but they've never looked on their own temple walls at the paintings of Albert Pike that adorn them and asked themselves why the founder of the Klan is hanging in their temple. This is the power of hidden in plain view, a favorite trick of Luciferians.
All right, I'm going to stop that video there, but also I'm going to point out, why do you think their white hoods that they wear are in the form of a triangle? And they're always burning the cross. They're burning the cross because they're devil worshippers. and they're burning the emblem of the covenant between us and God through His Son Christ. And all these links will be in the description below, so you can go check them out. Um, this is one of many, many, many websites. All you have to do is look up Illuminati numerology, and uh, tons and tons of lists pop up. The beginning here, the Illuminati, and they all match. Majority, 99% of them match. The Illuminati, 13 ruling crime families, and the Kennedys are one of the of one of the 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati. But he was going against the Illuminati. He was fighting against, the big banks. He was fighting. He didn't want. He was trying to keep us out of war. He was doing all the things the Illuminati want to be done. He was going against. I've heard multiple speeches where Kennedy was trying to expose the Illuminati. He came straight out in one of his speeches and said that secret societies and these different covenants, they were not acceptable to him or to the United States, or to the earth. They should not be acceptable. Anyway, the Illuminati 13 ruling crime families is a ritualistic, I can't even talk, organization that has been around since the Christian Crusades. It is a special way of looking at numbers, the way that we should all know about and use numbers for ritualistic witchcraft. The number 11 is the number of destruction, the judgment and death of man. In the event of these things assigned with the number 11 aids in the rising of the Antichrist. In Latin, the devil's name is LVX, which translates as 50 plus 5 plus 10 equals 65. You take 66 plus 5 equals 11. See, that's the thing about the Illuminati, is that they certain numbers are certain things, and they'll have them just as they're meant to be. And other things, they take numbers away, or they add numbers, or they add, they'll separate the numbers and add the numbers and then subtract the numbers to make the number. Like here. You know what I mean? If you look at 9/11, 9/11 was, that was an inside job. And if you look at the numbers, they never say 2001. It's always 01. And then the number 9, and then the number 11. Okay? And this is the code over here. This is pretty much like Zippo lighters and stuff like that. Say it's, the Zippo in the bottom of yours. If you have a Zippo, look at the bottom. It'll say a number, or a letter rather. And like say it says the letter C, which is 3. 3 would be March, because March is the third month of the year. Okay, and then it'll have the year, like say 16 for 2016. This is part of the code that they go on. Look at AOL. AOL is the triangle with the all-knowing eye in the center. CBS has the all-knowing eye. McDonald's has the 3 and then the 1. The way it's positioned, it says 13. And Arby's is the same thing. There's your 3. That's why it's separated from Arby's. It's supposed to be a hat, but it says 13. Then you can also see the 13 here, 3, a 1, and 3. So, you can look at it two different ways. So that's doubling the number 13. Okay? And see, like CNN, 3, 14, 14. Okay? So 3 is C, and then 14 is NN. CIA, 391. Central Intelligence Agency. You got the 3. You got the 9, which is I right here. And then you got the A, which is 1. Okay, so you have here's the entertainment portion of it. Like I've been saying, it's in sports, it's in everything. Walt Disney was a 33rd degree Freemason, and he's actually got a special room that I believe is called the 33rd room, I believe is what it's called, and it's special people are allowed there. You have to have an invite, and it's only the top elite that get to go there. Understanding numerology, you can go back and read all this. I'll leave the link in the description below so you can go read it and get more informed on it. And then here's all the numbers, and we'll do say 9/11. Okay. Well, obviously there's no 2001. Okay. It doesn't work like that. So We'll do 9. Okay, the number of divine compilation and the number of fall of man. Now remember, there was it was all over the news. They made documentaries about it and everything else. The man that jumped out of the window trying to save himself, supposedly. All right. Well, if I was in a burning building up that high, I would not be jumping out of a burning building onto the ground where I can't see where I'm going to be. There's nothing down there that's going to catch me to save me. Now, if I'm inching out and I happen to fall because I'm trying to keep away from the heat and the smoke, then that's one thing. But I'm not just going to jump to my death. I'm going to wait until help arrives as much as I possibly can. Okay? So you got 9, all right, which the fall of man. And then you got the fall of the 2 twin towers. Okay? You got 11, the number of destruction and judgment and death of man. Any event or thing assigned with the number 11 is aided in the raising of the Dajjal slash Antichrist. The Latin is in the Latin. The devil's name is LVX, which translates to 50 plus 50 plus 10, or 50 plus 5 plus 10 equals 65. 6 plus 5 equals 11. Just as a point of interest, Armoristic Day, Remembrance Day, November 11 at 11/11, triple 11. See, they triple the numbers to make them more powerful. Okay, and also, little side note, as you see here, the number 11 is a very powerful, to them is a very powerful number, and it means judgment and the death of man. And it uses the word man. All right. And then you'll see all these numbers when I read you the little snippet of this book about Lincoln and JFK, and the number 11 pops up a lot. Okay? Then you got 9/11. Well, obviously there's no 2001. So what they do is they break up the 0 and the 1. They make them 2 separate numbers because you can't add or subtract those together. So for 0, for the Illuminati, the number 0 is symbolic of sun worshiping and symbolizes the man who was reborn through occult rituals, blood sacrifices, so on and so on. So the people that died in 9/11 that had nothing to do with this, these poor people that died, that was a blood sacrifice to them, to the Illuminati. Okay? You got the number 1. This is the number of the unity of mind, body, and soul. See, they're trying to illuminate themselves by doing these these demon sacrifices, these devil sacrifices. That's just an example. You can, like I said, I'll put the link of this in the description below. Go check it out and read more of it for yourself. And see here, this is the Illuminati numerology. If it pulls up quick enough, I'm lagging like on every single video I ever try to do like these. Come on. See, this is the one I clicked on here. And all I did was type in Illuminati numerology. All right, so we're going to go to this former FBI agent that says that Lee Harvey Oswald was not the one that killed JFK, and he breaks it down. And remember KKK while you're watching it, what I showed you over here in this video here about the KKK. See how it says Google's not responding up top? This is what happens to me when I try to make these kind of videos. And if you've been in my live streams, you know that when I talk on certain topics, my live stream goes all stupid crazy. And when I get off those topics, my live streams goes fine. They don't want this stuff out. See, they're trying to stop me from making this video. Come on. Hopefully the audio is not all messed up on this. Because I'm not taking this out. I'm going to leave this in so you guys can see it. See, my computer's locked up.
It appears as though something has happened in the motorcade route.
November 22nd, 1963. President John F. Kennedy is gunned down in Dallas. A crushing blow to the country and a personal affront to FBI agent Don Adams.
Oh, it shocked me. It devastated me. And I thought to myself, what did I do wrong?
Adams is retired, but still can't shake the assassination.
That bill that was just up there, that's the bill that I'm going to have up when I read the article or this in the book. But do you see how my computer just locks up and freezes? And it only happens on certain videos and certain topics. So I'm going to go ahead and play this again so you can see it. But I'm not taking none of this out. I'm leaving it all in so you guys can see I'm not crazy. This is part of the Illuminati, part of the Big Brother, part of the New World Order. They watch everything you do, everything you say, everything you type, everything. And they control you or try to control you. So let's get back to this.
It appears as though something has happened in the motorcade route.
November 22nd, 1963. President John F. Kennedy is gunned down in Dallas. A crushing blow to the country and a personal affront to FBI agent Don Adams.
Oh, it shocked me. It devastated me. And I thought to myself, what did I do wrong?
Adams is retired, but still can't shake the assassination or investigation by the Warren Commission.
Nothing but a bunch of liars.
The Warren Commission determined that Lee Harvey Oswald fired the fatal shots from the Texas Book Depository. But Adams says the real person behind the plot isn't even mentioned in their report.
I know for a fact in my heart that these things happened.
Based on his service with the FBI and years researching National Archives, Don Adams says at best the Kennedy assassination is a massive failure to communicate between federal agencies and then cover up. At worst, it's conspiracy to commit murder.
It's embarrassing because I love the FBI. It's a great organization, best law enforcement agency in the business. But we also have to face facts and reality that there are bad people in this world.
The Army war veteran joined the agency in 1962. He was assigned to Thomasville, Georgia, where he began investigating Joseph Miltier, a name unfamiliar to many, but not the government.
He was reported to be one of the most violent men in the country.
A militant activist with ties to hate groups like the KKK. November 1963, an FBI informant named William Somerset said Miltier was threatening JFK.
Saying bad things about what they wanted to do to Kennedy.
Miltier.
Who else had tie to the who has ties to the KKK? The Clintons. Just saying.
Frequently discussed assassinating President Kennedy. A threat was even captured on tape by Miami intelligence officers November 9th, 1963, just weeks before Dallas. Miltier is talking to Somerset.
Well, how the hell do you figure the best way would be to get from an office building with a high-margin price? And they're going to really try to kill it.
He describes smuggling a gun into the building.
All those guns come out now, you take the word. Boy, if that Kennedy gets shot, we got to know where we at. They'll pick up somebody within hours after. Try to throw the public off.
It should have stopped the president from traveling instantly.
It didn't. And November 22nd, Miltier is photographed near the motorcade moments before the assassination.
They messed up, and all the other agencies messed up.
Is there any way Lee Harvey...
Just a side note, and if you go to this playlist is one of my playlists on my channel. See, Bush confesses JFK killing. There's a few different Bushes. This is the one here. Bush admits guilt in JFK assassination. So, and again, the Bush family is part of the 13 family's bloodline. Then he's also part of the Skull and Bones. So, you do the math.
Harvey Oswald could have killed John F. Kennedy?
No, had nothing to do with it.
Don says evidence he saw while stationed in Dallas proves it, beginning with the Zapruder film.
And all of a sudden, I saw the president go like this with his hands. And I said, "Hal," I said, he was shot in the throat. The agent said to me, "Don, be careful what you say." And there were no shots from the front.
But Don says this photo shows a bullet hole through the windshield.
The very first thing that the doctor said was, "Hal, he was shot in the throat." That's a bullet hole. The minute that you have a frontal shot, Oswald can't be the shooter because this came from the grassy knoll. And Oswald was in Texas School Book Depository.
The Warren Commission ruled that 3 shots were fired, but Don counted 11. And at the book depository, he wondered how Oswald did that in 7.5 seconds from a bolt-action rifle.
Because I was in Korea and I know what I'm talking about.
He also says, unbeknownst to many people, another weapon seen here was also recovered.
The first weapon they found in the building was a Mauser.
And another side note here, you right now, if you're looking at him going, well, that's just one guy. Maybe he just wasn't all that great shooting a weapon. There's been several people. Jesse Ventura is one of them, very highly decorated ex-Navy SEAL sniper. There's been, a lot of people tried to recreate it. The conspiracy theory with Jesse Ventura, other different branches of the our military have tried to do it. Snipers that were like top of their class, and they could not pull that shot off. Could not. So it's not just he is a bad shot, can't do it. And Lee Harvey Oswald was actually kicked out of the Army because he was a poor marksman. So you got a bolt-action rifle. It was a very cheaply made bolt-action rifle. An angle that could not have been, that nobody's been able to do it. They've went up on forklifts and everything else as high as it, as the building and stuff like that, and the distance away, and none of these professional military snipers, highly decorated, could do it. They couldn't pull off the 3 shots in the amount of time with that same rifle. Some of them even jammed the rifle up, trying to, kick out the shell, put another shell in, and cock it with the bolt, the bolt action, so on and so on. So it just cannot be done. But if you look at it the other way and another angle, from somebody that may be a high marksman and with a different weapon, then it can be done.
And nobody ever discussed that.
Witnesses reported Oswald was in the lunchroom 4 floors down on the opposite side of the building drinking a Coke after the first shot.
No heavy perspiration or heavy breathing or anything. Couldn't have been done. It was impossible.
Afterward, while Oswald was arrested, Miltier was, quote, jubilant, bragging to Somerset, "You thought I was kidding when I said he would be killed from a window with a high-powered rifle." He told sources in the KKK, "Don't worry about Oswald. He doesn't know anything."
All this stuff bothers me.
Upsetting to many people. In 1976, the U.S. House of Representatives Select Committee on Assassinations was established. They determined a shot was fired from the grassy knoll and, in summary, believed, quote, on the basis of evidence available, President Kennedy was probably assassinated as a result of a conspiracy, though they were unable to identify the other gunmen. Was Joseph Miltier involved, or someone else? Don thinks time will tell, but it's also running out.
I mean, when we die off, when we're gone, there's not going to be anybody who's going to sit here and tell you these things. I hope the truth gets told, whatever it is.
Suzanne Stratford, Fox 8 News.
And you got to keep in mind, too, guys.
Hello, everybody. It's Various 13 Fox. This story right here is something that ties.
And you got to keep in mind, too, guys, that this guy that was just on there is ex-military and ex-FBI. So, I mean, he's a pretty credible source. Okay? So, I'm going to pull this down real quick. I'm going to See what I mean, guys? It's all laggy, and it shouldn't be that way. All right, so this is the bill here. All right, so I'm gonna read you this. It's Lincoln and Kennedy, and again, this is from my Reader's Digest Mystery of the Unexplained book. This is why I always tell you guys get the older books because they haven't rewritten the history yet to bury it. Two of the most tragic and dramatic deaths in American history: the assassination of President Abraham Lincoln and John Fitzgerald Kennedy, involve the following astonishing parallels. The above dollar bill issued in the above dollar bill, which is this bill here, this is the one that's in the book, issued in Dallas only 2 weeks before JFK was killed. There's uh, there is now known that is now known as the Kennedy assassination bill, since Dallas's location of the 11th of the 12th Federal Reserve banks. Federal Reserve is part of the Illuminati districts. The bill bears the letters K, the 11th letter of the alphabet, the number L, or 11, which appears in each corner. The serial number begins with K and ends with A, standing for a Kennedy assassination. 11 also stands for November, the 11th month of the year. Two 11s equal 22, the date of the tragedy, and the serial number is 1963, the year the assassination occurred. So you got 11/11, 11/11, Kennedy assassination, and then 1963. Okay, now listen to these parallels, guys. Number one, Lincoln, and this is their wording in the book. None of this is my wording. Lincoln was elected president in 1860, exactly 100 years later. In 1960, Kennedy was elected president. Number two, both men were deeply involved in civil rights movements for the Negroes. Number three, both men were assassinated on Friday in the presence of their wives. Number four, each wife lost a son while living at the White House. Number five, both men were killed by a bullet entered in the head from behind. Number six, Lincoln was killed in Ford's Theater. Kennedy met his death while riding in a Lincoln convertible made by the Ford Motor Company. Number seven, both men were succeeded by vice presidents named Johnson, who were Southern Democrats and former senators. Number eight, Andrew Johnson was born in 1808. Lyndon Johnson was born in 1908, exactly 100 years later. The first time that Lincoln's private security was John. The last name of Kennedy's private security was Lincoln. Number 10, John Wilkes Booth was born in 1839, according to some sources. Lee Harvey Oswald was born in 1939, 100 years later. Those are both patsies, guys. Like I said before, they didn't fire the shots. Number 11, both assassins were Southerners who held extremist views. Number 12, both assassins were murdered before they could be brought to trial. They were murdered before they could be brought to trial because dead men tell no tales. They couldn't squeak. You see what I'm saying? They couldn't tell the truth. Number 13, Booth shot Lincoln in a theater and fled to a barn. Oswald shot Kennedy from a warehouse and fled to a theater. Number 14, Lincoln and Kennedy each have 7 letters. So, like I said, guys, they use all their, and their bills, they're always constantly changing. Every so many years, they change. They'll change the color, they'll change the emblems, they'll certain numbers, certain letters, whatever. And it's not for counterfeiting, to prevent counterfeiting. It's their codes. And it's not just the U.S. money. It's everywhere. That's why it's New World Order. They're communicating back and forth with each other within the same country or in other countries. And they're telling us what they've done or what they're planning on doing. And it gives a lot of the time, it gives exact times and dates and everything else. They're very precise on when they change the bills, put out videos, put out audio. have their little cronies in the movie industry, the certain ones that they have, to put out certain movies and certain TV shows and stuff like that. It's all part of the same thing. That's what predictive television is. It's all part of that. It's all part of this puzzle. It's a game to them. So anyway, I hope this opened your eyes and proved the Illuminati is real, and that they do use everything, including our money, to show us what they've done, or for a better word, predict what they're gonna do, to show us what they're gonna do. They feel like they're sportsmen. They're showing us what they're gonna do. And there's been Masons that's come out and said that. There's been in private, got caught in private. Illuminati that's come out and said that, Skull and Bones, so on and so on, that's come out and said that. They feel like they're sportsmen, and they're telling us what they're going to do ahead of time so we can be prepared. But if they were really being sportsmen, they would tell us. They wouldn't hide it within codes. So anyway, like I said, I hope this video opened your eyes even more. If you were on the fence about the Illuminati, it threw you over the fence where you're not on the fence anymore, and use this video if you got, to show people, that, the Illuminati is real and that you're not crazy. And they're hell bent on devil worshiping, New World Order, one law, one money, one government, and one religion. So anyway, rate, comment, subscribe, guys. Use all my links in the About Me section. And I'll see you guys on the next one.